I do want to ask. Sorry, I have to derail this, but I forgot to ask this earlier. Um, this is something that's been bugging me for a while. Because there are other. I think Jay brought this up ish earlier about you, Mark, teaching other groups about how to perform our dances and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Were you doing
Yeah,
that for other groups? So there are
I
some groups that are local here, and we know that um, they perform some of our dances, right? And I'm just not sure how to approach it. Like and these are professional dance groups that go out and monetize their dances, right? They perform.
Mm.
So it's just a matter of, should we reach out, should as Igorot, and try to teach them our proper ways, proper dances, everything, for them to use them in their performances and monetize that,
mm,
or should we reach out and be like, hey, it's not that cool?
Cancel
Like,
them. Cancel them.
exactly, right? That's a thing right now. So,
I think a little bit
uh,
of both, man. A little bit of both, personally, because in my experience, the people who I taught were people who asked me.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
they, and then the other reason I did it was because I was in the PCN. It was way back in 1998 or 99, and I was sick and tired of like watching the BS version of just horrible versions of our dances on there. So I decided to just
mhm,
take it upon myself to teach people uh, like how to do it more authentically and how we do it.
Hmm.
And it was still, even that was quite hard. I mean, like we mentioned last week, the dances are and technically look simple and might be simple for some, but when you do it and you have so many things to coordinate, not easy, especially when you want to get a good sound. So it was a real challenge
Yeah.
for me to try and create something like that. But then they, at the end, what I appreciated was that they appreciated that gift of learning more authentically
Hmm.
and learning something that wasn't necessarily choreographed. It was more about feeling, right? Because when you're doing the dances, you're not counting steps. You're doing the dances in a way where you're feeling, again, time and space between your partners, and you're at the same time as your movement. You're also trying to play um, the gong appropriately so that it will rhyme in a certain way with your neighbor in front, your neighbor in back, and all the other guys playing. And at the end of it, uh, some of those people had danced in different dance troupes, and there was a great appreciation because they had never learned how that's how our dances were. They only knew them as choreographed pieces, you know. So, and that's usually what I get from other groups that we've taught, and I have appreciated the groups that have come out to us and asked us to kind of share with them. But I think that if you're a group that's just trying to represent a certain ethnic group in the Philippines, and you haven't reached out to that ethnic group and tried to learn their stuff and learn how they play it, there's something to be questioned there, especially if they're going to represent themselves as authentic people, authentic Igorots, and they're not. You know what I mean?
see,
That's
And
why I was saying, yeah, sorry.
that's the thing.
Like,
Exactly. There's two. Um, I think I've seen two different ways of doing it. I mean, there's groups that, yes, maybe incorrectly saying that they are Igorot or whatever, and performing these dances with that notion. But there are other groups that are just doing like Filipino dances in general. But
mm,
the thing is, it's not as authentic when they do um, Igorot dances, and
yeah,
it should really be corrected. Um,
the
and right now,
frustrating
at least,
part.
that's what I'm talking about. But the
The
other part, oh my god. Anyway.
another topic. Yeah, the frustrating part
Don't you
about
think
the
that
fact
there's some?
that
Well, go on.
no,
I
no,
mean,
go
don't
ahead.
you don't you think that there's some groups who literally think that Igorot people don't exist over here, or we look
Yeah.
we have, or that Igorot
We're
people
just
are
legend.
so endangered that we are just the stuff of legend. So they have to kind of like.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some groups I've heard that function that way. Like we are like the stuff of legend, literally, and that we're not even over here, which is
Yeah.
which is kind of
That we
wacky.
just do. Whoever is Igor only plays country music.
Yeah, yeah, and the idea of the Igorot is long gone because we're in modern times. That's another like
Right.
that's another like what
Myth.
yeah. The frustrating part about what Jerz is talking about is like
Mm.
I know somebody in that troop, and yeah,
So do I.
we're oh right,
Yeah,
that's right,
and
yeah.
it's and
No, the
it's
thing is,
and
we're
it's
her and I were close friends. Yeah.
yeah, I just don't know how. I mean,
She on the podcast? She watching?
I'll share this with her.
highly doubt it, but no, it's just it's hard to I don't know, really think about how to really approach them and how to mitigate this. And I mean, we should really promote that learning aspect of our culture, and but at the same time, yeah, you don't want to be canceling as well. But I think the part that bugs me the most is that monetization, where it should really. It's kind of selfish saying this, but it should be at least the Igorot organization that's monetizing, if
Yeah.
anybody that's monetizing these things.
It
But
should
it
it
I
should
don't
be a
know.
source of exchange and learning. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Right.
that there's opportunity for that kind of dialogue if people know. It's if people really do believe that we're the stuff of legend, then I think that wow, that seems kind of backwards in kind of thinking, because I mean, how could we have just you know disappeared as an ethnicity? But
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
but I
no,
think
people
that
don't think we exist
honestly,
anymore.
yeah, I honestly think that people do believe that, and so they are there trying to recreate it in a way that for them that it sounds like it's honoring, in yet and to be honest with you, I mean, Igorits around the world, we people unless they've showed up at like our function and know us personally, they wouldn't know. They would just think that we're Filipinos, you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and and so unless the conversation comes up or they see us walking around with our with our with our ethnic clothes, they wouldn't know at all. We
You
blended
mean
pretty darn well.
non-Filipinos, or you mean
Just even
non-Filipinos, or like?
Filipinos, like Filipino
Mhm.
people, they wouldn't know unless we told them.
Yeah, they just.
And then they get surprised. I
Yeah.
thought you people are super brown and had tails. I'm like,
I've gotten this a lot. Like, you don't look like a Igorot. What?
Yeah.
If we're gonna
It
go in
always
that
comes back
direction,
to that, doesn't it? It always comes back to that.
it's funny because when I was looking up appropriation stuff, when I was googling appropriation in terms of Igorot, there was one article actually that came up that talked about our IAC in Hawaii, which was
Oh,
I
cool.
think pretty interesting. One thing I do want to point out in this one is when they mentioned Bebuk, they said Benguet, Ifugao, Buntok, Apayao, and Kalinga. So this goes back to our first conversation, Mark, about what Bebuk stands for. And I'm pretty sure that A used to stand for Abra. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting.
Probably was.
I just thought that was interesting.
You're right.
Abra just doesn't get any love, it seems like. Like they always get forgotten. Anyway, in this under this article,
okay. Oh yeah, go ahead.
In the comments in this article, there is one. I mean, it's in Tagalog, and I think I understand what it's saying. but there's one comment saying, maybe these aren't even true Igorots. From what I understand, they wear bahags and red costumes, something like that. And I don't know. I thought that
Yeah, well,
comment
that
was
goes
funny.
along with that whole thing where a lot of people don't realize that just because we're not wearing those things that they don't realize that we still exist.
Yeah, it's funny, but
That
like,
connection between that term Igorot and what they know Igorot is that whatever they have in their head. Oh, that person with their wanus, their G string, and all that. But
right,
no, man,
exactly.
just
It's funny. This is a comment from 2 years ago. And now, when I saw this, I'm like,
yeah,
should I comment?
yeah.
Just because we aren't wearing ethnic wear all the time, we're not Igorot. Anyway, it's not funny.
Yeah,
That's funny how you say it's only 2 years ago, but like that was recent. Like that's because I've had conversations and
Yeah.
it's
Oh
frustrated
yeah,
me how I express how there has been discrimination
yeah.
towards our people, and then younger people now they're like, What? I don't understand these discriminations." I'm like, "Oh, there has been, and there are discriminations like even now, just like in that comment, or not discrimination, but just like ignorances or whatever." And like
Yeah.
I've had conversations. My comments have been like questioned if there were any sort such ignorances that there clearly are. It's just stupid, man. No offense.
Mm.
I mean, I think it's hard to blame them. I mean, it's just beliefs that are spread and passed down. Like it's
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
That's why we just
I
need to do our best, like promoting the
yes,
culture, and
it
that's
is
it.
our responsibility to share our stuff out there, to
And who
share
we
who we
are, that
are.
we're alive. Yeah.
Right. And that's our responsibility. You can't expect somebody else to say, because
Hmm.
even, we're a minority amongst Filipinos, right? Filipino groups. And so, and a specific kind of ethnic minority too. So
Hmm.
we have to be the one who is vocal to share. They're not going to be the ones. Usually, people, if you're the one who has the power, it's not in your consciousness to even think about that, because that's not in your. You're not even generally. You're not thinking about that, and
Hmm.
so then it's the one who is on the other side, who has the responsibility to share that. It's a responsibility of the one in power to listen, but the one who who's on the other side has to be the one who's vocal, who has to share.
Mm.
and
Yeah.
and I think that's a responsibility there. You can't expect them, hey, they're doing all kinds of, whatever, and I'm just pissed off and not participating. That's not going to work. In fact, out of sight, out of mind. If you're not
Hmm.
participating in some way, if you're not building relationship, they won't know. The only way people have known over the years is because of either an interpersonal relationship, or the fact that we've gotten our ethnic groups, our organizations out there, and people have witnessed it, or they intermarry with us, and then all of a sudden, then they know. Uh, that's,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
that's those are
One of
generally
the
the
things that
ways.
we did. One of the things that we did. Wait, and earlier we do this now. But like, in our parties, we don't always wear our G strings or our topless, right? When we're performing, when we perform, yeah. But like when we're having a parties, we just dance and play and do all that stuff in
Right.
just whatever clothes you want to wear, right?
Hmm.
And there
Hmm.
were some in the '90s. When I was still in university, we got invited to our youth bebop got invited to a couple functions, and it was really interesting because like I think they were expecting us to wear all our stuff, but we wanted to show them that we are just normal
It's a
people,
living culture. It's a living
a living
culture.
culture. So we came there. We wore the vest, the chaleco, and then the girls wore tapis over their other clothes and stuff. But we just represented just as like who we are. Just we're in just standard clothing with just the vest and the tapis. But we didn't go in the full regalia because we wanted to show that you see these Igorot people, they look just like you. And this was during a Filipino gathering. We wanted to show them that they look just like you, and we're playing the gangsa, And we can still play the gangsta. We can still do our things. We can still do our chanting. We can still do it, and we look like you. You know, and I think that was. Remember that I forgot what the name of that place was, but I remember people were really
Bindlestiff?
kind of surprised
that a-
about that. No, it
Was
wasn't
that
a
a
Bindlestiff.
Bindlestiff
It was
theater?
no, it was at another place down in San Francisco, and they
Right,
were
I
really
do remember
surprised,
that.
and people were just like, "Wow, we didn't even know that there was a real, authentic Igorot community here." And we're like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, we
yeah,
exist,
Yeah.
man. We look just like
We
you.
did.
That's the
Yeah.
thing."
Surprise!
And
Surprise!
surprise! And it's really interesting because like again, yeah, we are a minority amongst Filipinos, and so there always is always going to be that notion of like what we are, what in their minds. And sometimes you got to take advantage of some moments and represent yourself in a certain way so they can realize who you really are, that you're alive, that culture exists, and
Mhm.
stop romanticizing us
Exactly.
in such a weird way.